for something completely
really
different. More of the same. No.
More of the same.
I'm hoping that line hit just after the live button was pressed.
Somewhere around there. It's somewhere in that range, but that's okay because it is time again for everyone's favorite internet radio show, the little thing we do every week that we call
Insert title here.
the show that changes names so frequently, we just put a placeholder in. We'll fix that in post. And this week we're here for round 2 of the show topic, titty fucking. No, titties are fucking too big. Titty fucking too big was the show topic. Lulu, that's what we decided the show topic was, right?
Yes.
Titties fucking too big. And I know what you're thinking, no such thing, but...
These motherfuckers are too big. I've noticed because of my polycystic ovarian syndrome and because of the hormones I'm on, these motherfuckers have gotten too big over the last year.
That's,
I can't. One of my sports bras I tried putting on today would not fit. They were squished in so hard, I could not breathe.
And one thing I know
These
about
things-
large bras are they are not cheap.
No, they're not. But yeah, my titties are too fucking big.
So that's Lulu's rant for the you wanted to rant about that some today.
Yes. I mean, we can continue forward with what we were talking about earlier. I don't know if you guys want to.
You wanted to rant.
No.
No, Venison does not want to talk about. Venison's not ready to embrace
Venison,
his.
You're going to have to hold up a sign, that expresses your feelings.
Venison's
Oh, that's right. You're not on video.
Venison's not ready to embrace his feminine side, apparently.
No.
Oh, you don't like that topic, Venison?
No, I haven't
Yes.
had dinner yet.
Week after
You
week,
haven't had dinner yet.
week after week after week, we talk about topics that make Lulu go, no! This week it's Lulu's turn.
So did you like those quad kitties?
I
Yes.
did. I do
Well,
like
there
the
was only
kitties.
3.
There was only 3, you know?
Yeah.
It was close. Almost there. I didn't realize that the internet stopped at 3. Apparently it's impossible to find pictures of 4 kitties on the internet. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I'm trying to make a
That's
joke
sad.
there. Aw.
At least they're not bonsai kitties.
People thought that site was real.
I know.
and we're
I
like,
remember it.
oh my God, this is horrible. The abuse that they're putting that dude, joke site. It's a joke site.
I actually wanted to create a bonsai kitty.
No one's
believe it or
growing
not.
kitties in jars.
Dude, I wanted to create a bonsai kitty. When I first saw that site, I was like, can I stick one of my cats in a jar and grow it? I was like, how do you scoop the poop out of that thing?
So
No, I was literally thinking about this. I was trying to create a concept and build on it at the age of 13.
So 90%.
Wow.
This is
in
why
cold
these
piss.
things shouldn't be on the internet.
So 90% of the population saw Bonsai Kitty and thought, "Oh my god, that's hilarious." 10% of the people thought, "Oh my god, that's horrible. I'm writing my congressman about this horrible animal abuse." And then there was Lulu who thought, "Oh my god, I could try that."
Yeah.
You were in the third category.
Like
I
the
was in the
Mythbusters
third
say, don't try
category.
this at home.
Try it at a friend's house.
There was an episode I saw recently where they had these different things they were doing, and then they would say, this one is a try it at home, and this one is do not try at home. It was
Yeah.
kind of funny. But they would show you the thing first and then explain, yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Right. Like
Yes,
I
don't steal dry ice in a jar.
No, don't.
Oh no!
No, you use plastic for that. Duh. You're gonna make dry ice bombs. Don't do it in a way that you're gonna get a chunk of glass embedded in your skull.
Well, actually, they were actually. I'm sorry, they were actually using plastic bottles,
Oh,
and the plastic bottles would explode,
yeah.
and some of the plastic pieces were embedded in various objects. So no, you don't even want to do plastic.
Oh, they're using the wrong plastic then.
No, this was just a standard plastic bottle. Like a quart-size bottle of Coke, without the Coke.
Weird. I mean, because I've seen plenty of. I've watched many a clip of this on YouTube. I've never seen someone end up with plastic embedded in their skull. Not that I was suggesting.
They
I was
probably stood back a ways.
Oh, here's the other one you don't ever want to do. Brake fluid and fertilizer. Don't.
Really?
Oh, it's quite explosive, as Rhett and Link discovered.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they Well, everything that Rhett and Link do on their show, someone tests it ahead of time, and so they were doing an episode about different ways to start a fire if you needed to start a fire in the wilderness for some reason, and they started getting to more ridiculous ways or ways that you wouldn't really do, and whoever tested this out was off that day, so it the ratios got relayed to someone else, and then the person said to Rhett, well, these are the ratios you use, but you could probably use a little bit more, and Rhett translated a little bit more to a little bit more plus a little bit more, and it was quite an explosive reaction of flames shooting up. It was
So my brother learned that you can't substitute transmission fluid for brake fluid.
Oh.
Because it totally ruins the brake. There's no explosion or fire. You just ruin the brakes. You have to replace essentially everything. All of the rubber seals are gone.
That's not nearly as fun.
Yeah, it's just expensive.
Yeah. You would think it's all fluid, right? So it should work, right?
Yeah, it's kind of they're all kind of like an oil.
Yeah, it's all.
And hey, he's a mechanical engineer, so he knows what he's doing.
It was that confidence that was his downfall.
Yes.
I know what I'm doing. And
so when I was
no.
contracting at Texas Instruments, and they had a lab there to blow chips apart and stuff, so to figure out how they failed.
Right.
They called it an FA lab, a failure analysis.
Okay.
So you had various acids and an acid drain. You had various alkali base materials and a base drain. And this young engineer put the wrong fluid in the wrong drain.
Oh. How?
Yeah, that turned out to be nasty.
That caused some kind of chemical reaction that gassed out the building, or did it cause an explosion, or?
Yeah, I think there was an explosion. That was before I was there. So, but one of the guys that worked in the FA lab told me about it. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it. Actually, I think this guy had a mathematics.
So
I think he did the math on it first.
He did the math on how big of an explosion it would cause.
Yeah, right.
Let's see. How much is this mistake going to cost me?
Right.
Oh, man. But anyways, we are here another week of this isolation. And anyone going?
And your couch is still green.
My couch is still green. Anyone going stir crazy?
No.
No, me neither.
A little.
And now that we're in isolation, stay at home, the air is getting a lot cleaner. Pollution has gone down. Even the wildlife is starting to recover.
Well, actually, they realize that they don't come into town, so you just see more of it. They've been hiding in the woods.
So now, Brian, are you?
They're talking about coyotes in downtown San Francisco and other critters.
Yeah, Brian,
just wandering the streets.
Brian, are you gonna do any back and forth between the two houses, or are you pretty much just staying stationary in your main home?
Well, we're not supposed to.
You're supposed to pick a house and stick with it.
Right, and we're staying in the May house. Now, we did talk to our neighbor down there, and they told us that they had the virus. They had it early, and they didn't know what it was.
And so they're immune now.
So, well, who knows? You hear about these repeats. So you can get it again.
So you go down there, you
So
drink
he
their
fir-
blood to
first he
gain
got
their
it.
power. And no, wait.
So first he got it.
Uh-huh.
He got sick. He was vomiting and everything. And then the wife got sick, and then their adult son got sick. So
Mhm.
they've all had it. And hopefully they won't get it again.
So they're hoping that it's immune. You're
Now
immune
they've
once
never,
you get it.
because we don't have the testing set up right, they haven't been tested.
So they think
Now
they
didn't
had
have
it.
the lung issue, but they had all these other things. When you get this thing, you just want to die.
So they had something that may or may not have been it, and they're over it, and they may or may not be immune to it if it was what they had.
Well, of
So the
course, when-
review,
when
we
it
know
first
jack
came out,
shit.
There wasn't all the information about the symptoms and et cetera, et cetera.
They may or may not have had it.
And there aren't any tests, so they just at first they guessed that it was the flu, but then as they got into it, and they go, no, this was certainly the virus, but because there's no testing,
But I
there's
thought
no
I
data
thought
collection.
I thought this
it doesn't
virus was
count.
just like the flu. That's what our president says.
Well, there is a lot of
He
similarities,
wouldn't
which
lie
is
to
why
us,
they
would
can
he?
Be wrong.
Yeah.
No, he's just wrong.
He's just... There's no excuse for him to be saying wrong things like this. He's surrounded by experts telling him the right stuff. I'm sorry, this just
Well,
infuriates
he
me.
only has one expert in the room, and there's a lot of, his people that want to just fire the guy.
And
That's
an
ridiculous.
occasional death threat.
Well, that's beside the point.
There's
The
just
trouble
what
is
the
when you
fuck,
actually
man?
enter politics, you have that threat of, you have that pall of the death threat over your head.
Anyways, we're not going to discuss too much politics about the situation, though. But is that number right?
Right.
Do we have over 1,000 people viewing us right now?
Hello,
That doesn't-
everybody.
There must be an error on Twitch's site that has to be. Maybe it's negative 1,000 people are viewing us right now. Is what
Right.
it is. I
Well,
think
what
that's.
is the topic that you? What was the topic that you posted?
I posted ... with a whole 10 megabytes of storage. Wow. Because I have
Are
made.
there that many nerds on Twitch?
Oh, dude, there's tons
Hi,
of nerds.
Twitch. Hey, by the way,
And we say
how
that as a
many
term of
people-
endearment.
How many people on Twitch have been getting into Twitch Prime? Twitch Prime is where you link your Amazon Prime account to Twitch, and you get free stuff. Apparently,
No, I have linked my Twitch to my Amazon Prime, and I did that for one reason and one reason only. That gives me a free sub a month that I could use on the prettiest, cutest girl I find every month, to try to get her to notice me. It's what's
are
her?
you out there trolling
No, it's
for
not.
some reason?
No, it's not a trolling. It's a sub. That's free money that person gets for subbing their channel.
So you're up to what? 4 people now, or 5?
No, you're not familiar with subbing. Then I take it.
No, I get it. I'm one of your subs.
You
right?
get no. A sub is a paid membership level. There's following
paid
and there's
membership.
subbing. You can sub to channels
Why would you do that?
because you get their emoticons and you support their content.
So you get a nickel for each sub?
I'm not sure how much you get for each sub, but you get a cut for each sub, and you can renew it for
$4.99.
multiple months or things like that. And so lately, I've been subbing to
Renew it as in paying?
right? Like you could make it a monthly thing that you renew every month because your sub level lasts for a month. This is how people make money doing this on the internet.
Right. But do you have to pay to get into that, or is that for free for you?
Well, people could sub to my channel, and I would get a cut of that, and I didn't have to pay anything to get into that. But you have to earn up to a certain level before you get a check. I think you have to earn $100 worth before they will send you a check or give you your money. So it may take
and
us.
Each person pays how much? Each person pays how much?
Oh, how much is a sub? A sub is, you know, we have people.
$4.99.
We have Twitch users watching this channel right now that know how Twitch works. Maybe we could teach you this offline.
Comment section.
Wait. A little box came up, and it said to sub $4.99.
All right, $4.99 to sub
For you.
For you.
So $4.99 per month.
Right. And then people who like a channel so much that they wish they could sub it more can gift subs to other people. And so sometimes you'll see someone do something like crazy, like, you know, gift 100 subs to people that are in the channel. You know, and then 100 random people in the channel get that sub for free for the first month.
Okay, so if you're already subscribed, in other words, you're paying money,
right?
And someone wants to sub you, does that go into the future?
Well, you can sub for multiple months in the future, or you can gift a sub and someone else gets a sub that you pay for.
So it can get very complicated.
No, it's pretty simple.
Yes,
and Jeff Bezos makes the money.
Okay, you're catching on. Now you got it. You got it.
It's all about pies.
It's all about pie? Yep, pie. You know, I like a good lemon meringue pie.
It's like a big pyramid scheme where actually only one guy makes real money.
Well, there's a lot of people in the middle that are making enough money to live off of, though. So this is one of those good pyramid schemes that actually works out for some people.
Right. So there is some nerd at Twitch that's trying to get me blocked out of the image.
What's this?
There's some guy that works for Twitch that says, "How do I get that guy with the blue shirt off of this channel?"
Oh,
I've got cheesecake.
Well, you could just overlay something
realize,
in that.
Wait a minute. He's not in through Twitch. He's through this other feed that you're providing. And if this show just goes off the air on Twitch, we know the reason why.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We're simulcasting to YouTube, so it's fine, and we still got the Home Shopping Network deal.
And Gators, pay attention to the chat.
I'm reading the chat. I know Warhawk's got cheesecakes, but what does that have to do with what we're talking about?
Gators.
Yes.
Well, I have cheesecake.
Gators.
Yes.
Gators.
Yes.
Gators.
Lulu.
Gators. It's Warhawk's birthday. Can you play that song?
Oh, okay. That's the message you wanted me to catch. Of course, we can play that song for our good friend Warhawk.
Did it twice, and you never saw it once.
So he has pie instead of cake?
I'm multitasking here. I am producer and engineer and talent.
Multitask
and I do a half-assed job at all of those things. And sometimes I read a message.
That's why I'm here. I try and read messages and interact with the chat.
So, Lulu, did you hear that funny joke?
Get your voices good and ready.
He said that he's the talent.
I also say I do a half-assed job of it, but it is Warhawk's birthday. So, you know, we gotta do a little, like, funky dance and wish our good friend Warhawk a happy birthday. 70s style. So happy birthday, Warhawk. Hope it's a good one. And speaking of playing tunes on Twitch,
there are better birthday songs.
What about playing tunes on Twitch, Gators?
Oh, we'll get to that. But Venison raises a point. There are other birthday songs because I did a search.
Death Clock.
I did a search for birthday on my D drive, and we also have Mike Ellis's birthday song.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you the most requested bit on No Holds Barred Radio, Mike Ellis's birthday song, a tribute to his friend. He did it all by himself. Isn't he the man?
Take 2.
Oh my goodness!
Happy birthday, Mike.
Warhawk.
Happy birthday.
Warhawk.
Happy birthday.
Warhawk.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah.
He made it all by himself.
Now, is that like the sickest kazoo you've ever heard? Is that what that was?
That's what happens when Mike Ellis, the co-founder of No Holds Barred Radio, produces audio all by himself. Is what that is.
So he multi-tracked himself?
Yes. He
That's
Oh,
pretty
okay.
sad.
It's hilarious.
It's sad.
And it was
That
the
is
most
sad.
requested bit in automation.
That makes me want to slit my wrists. Thank you.
And speaking of playing music on Twitch, last night, every night when I'm going to bed, I don't just roll over and go to sleep in silence because, when I roll over and everything's completely silent, I hear all the screams in my head. So I need something to drown that out. And so, I had the TV on. And I was like, well, let's see what's on Twitch, see if there's anything good there. And, usually I'll flip through Twitch. I might watch Bob Ross do a little painting. I might watch the hula hoop girl do a little shaking her hips with the hula hoop and trolling around doing all her tricks. And so I'm flipping through. I'm like, oh, Lulu's live. Let's check that out. And I didn't realize people were actually monitoring who's coming in and out of viewing the channel, so I figured I'd just kind of stealth in, kind of peek in, like, okay, and then kind of just slide right out unnoticed. Lulu here.
That's how. That's why trolls actually get different accounts.
See, I need to learn how to be a troll. I know how to feed trolls. I don't know how to be a troll.
Wait a minute! I thought you were Jay Booger.
No, Brian, you're Jay Booger.
and I target myself because I'm a wacko.
I think Damon was Jay Booger. That's my theory. Anyways,
actually, at first I thought it was Dune. I don't think so anymore.
Maybe it's Bob. Does anyone know what Bob's up to these days?
Oh, well, but everybody loves Bob.
Everybody loves Bob. Yes.
Yeah,
so
that couldn't be.
Couldn't be. Anyways.
Because he's lovable.
So I quickly pop into Lulu's channel, and she's, got some, 90s rap beats going on. And I'm like, that's not bad, but that's not exactly content to fall asleep to. So I popped out of the channel, and I moved on. And next thing I know, my phone starts lighting up. Bzz, 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 and I'm like, oh, yeah, Gothard must have sent me a link to some...
Why is this jerk calling me at 3 a.m.?
Right. Well, more of like, maybe Gothard sent me a message. He saw something funny on the internet about Doritos that involved kicking someone in the balls or something like that. I'm like, whatever, I'll check it tomorrow. And I bring up some Family Feud because nothing puts me to sleep like Steve Harvey. And as I'm, rolling over, I hear another round of bzz, bzz, bzz. I'm like, damn, this phone's going nuts tonight. What the? And it's driving me nuts because now I'm thinking about it. Now this buzzing is living in my head with all the screams, and Steve Harvey can't drown all of that out.
Why don't you put your phone at the opposite end of the house?
No, I said Goth. Oh, Jay Booger. Dune wants to know if you really thought that Jay Booger was Dune.
Well, I did for a while. At first, I did.
Well, keep in mind,
really
at first.
But then I really, paid attention to it, and that's why I started reading them.
Right.
And I kind of thought, well, I'm going to turn these into suggestions on how I could do better.
Well, at first it was
See,
constructive
and that just
feedback.
pissed Jay Booger off.
And then it turned into he got meaner the more we
oh yeah,
the more we stopped catering to him.
right.
So
On the Gators TT chat
yes.
link for you.
Oh. Okay.
Never mind the who it was intended for.
Okay.
This is still be played for Warhawk.
All right.
Warhawk.
Well, we'll bring that up in a little moment here. So I go up and I go across the room, and it turns out it was a bunch of Twitter PMs from Lulu. Wanting to know why I popped into her room and left immediately. Well, first she sent me links to like her Team Talk server, or no, what's the other thing? What's the thing the kids are
Discord.
using? Discord. That's what the kids are using. It's like, dude, hop into Discord. Yeah, it's like audio chat for the kids. But it also has chat
it's just
rooms.
audio.
It's audio, it's chat rooms, it's file sharing, it's everything you want it to be, except for what I want it to be,
Which is video.
Well, no. Apparently, you can do video in private sessions.
It doesn't support stereo sound or stereo panning.
No, it doesn't. That's the only thing.
See, and
that's why Team Talk is a little bit better.
That's important to me.
Yeah, so I'm
and
gonna
no
do
one
stereo
else.
panning.
And actually, you can do file sharing on Team Talk.
Yeah, you can do desktop viewing on Team Talk. You can do a lot of things at Team Talk.
It's just that it's difficult to find.
Well, it's also that Discord is kind of a cloud-based service, whereas Team Talk is you got to either rent some server space or spin up your own thing on one of your own machines. It's very Team Talk's more DIY. Discord is more this cloud-based service that the first one is free, and then they jack up the price if you actually want to do some the more cooler stuff with it. And of course, I think that's a monthly fee-based type of thing if you start getting into the pay services on it.
Like Zoom.
Right.
It starts off free.
And then they jack
up
the
lot
price.
Of limits, and then you go to higher levels.
Yeah.
And higher levels.
So.
And then you decide to go to use WebEx or GoToMeeting or something like that.
So anyways, I found then of course the second round of messages for Lulu like, what, you didn't like 90s rap? What's so now I'm like, oh no, I snubbed Lulu. I didn't.
No, I was just joking around.
I know.
I was just joking around. I don't fucking care.
It's like, dude, sorry.
I
was looking for something to go to sleep with. And I guess I preferred Steve Harvey to Lulu for
Steve Harvey is 90s rap anyways.
Pretty much. Anyways,
still, I like the what the heck was the original guy that did it? On Hogan's Heroes.
Oh yes. Why is his name escaping? I know that. I know not Ray Combs. That's the guy that hung himself. The other guy that was always drunk in the center of the. He did too much drinking. Yeah.
Which is a shame because he was very likable.
He was. He met his wife doing the Family Feud.
He was already married and they met her there?
Well, I don't know. Richard Dawson.
I was just trying to twist that line around.
I don't think that's how it happened. I don't know.
He met the woman that became his wife.
Yes, he met his wife. Yeah, exactly. He met his wife.
Not that he was married secretly in Vegas, and then she showed up on the show, and that's where he met her for the first time.
The phrase "met your wife" is a legit phrase. Damn it, Brian.
So actually, I worked with a woman that got pregnant first. Then she boyfriend
met the father.
Bought a house, and then they were trying to figure out if they should get married or not. I think they were doing everything backwards.
I don't know. It makes sense to me.
Well, yeah, it could.
Yeah. Okay.
Everyone's got their own order.
Sure.
No, but yeah, no, like.
I mean, from this traditional viewpoint.
The woman who became his wife, he was a contestant on the show, and that's how he met her. So that's what I'm saying.
Because he was drunk or because she was drunk?
Um,
Of course, we can't think of his name. Did anybody leave a comment on
Right.
what that guy's name was?
Richard Dawson. I already said it like 3
Richard
times.
Dawson. Oh, you did? 3 times?
We have
Lulu, did he say it 3 times?
What?
we have
She's in a coma.
we have killed all the funny
No,
in this, so I'm just gonna play Venison's file.
No, I'm typing in the chat about Team Talk.
Oh, sorry.
Now's
Sorry.
your
Okay.
chance.
Yeah.
Really?
And Warhawk,
Yeah, go ahead.
this is for you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, hi, Byron.
Warhawk.
A little birthday
Warhawk.
song from me, Yiffer, to you.
Oh God.
Happy birthday to you. You're a weirdo, it's true. You survived yet another year. A new friend now calls you dear. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday. I wanted no part of this, but hey, sorry.
That
Ow.
didn't sound like a deer. That sounded like a horse.
Don't know.
Or was it a jackass?
Yes. Yes, but that was the
Sorry,
the
Warhawk.
singing voice was the jackass. The audible sound effect was a horse.
Yeah. But maybe he didn't have the sound of a jackass. I don't know.
Actually, I don't know why that sound was in there. No idea.
He couldn't think of anything better.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. So the show
I was really stoned at the time.
that helps sometimes. Anyways, I have I managed to do some more work on the compact this week.
Ooh.
Yay.
Yeah.
And it would help if I plugged it in, because I just flipped the switch and nothing happened because it's,
You don't want to just run it on battery?
that wasn't an option back then.
Yeah, they didn't want to, the damn thing's heavy enough. They didn't want to add a car battery to it.
Yeah, that would that would not work out too good. But
The computer would have to come with a cart.
so last week we had it working on floppy, and that was all working fine. And what I had from one of my 2 units was a built-in hard drive, a controller card for the built-in hard drive, and there was another card that had a battery on it. And I thought, oh, that must be, and it had a battery and a few ports on it. So I'm like, oh, that must like add on my clock or whatever. And I wasn't sure if that card was also needed for the hard drive or not, which it turns out, no, that has nothing to do with the hard drive. But I put those 2 cards in and connected everything up and turned it on. And after I
Low heat.
and miracle of miracles, I have a C drive. The 35-year-old hard drive in this thing still spins up, still let me format it, let me install an ancient version of DOS on it, which was tricky to find the right syntax to do that, and boots up and has a whole 10 megabytes of storage. So now I have a whole 10 megabytes of
Whoopee.
internal storage on this
Yeah.
portable machine that is convenient to move around with the use of the handle that's right on there.
Is that a mini scribe disk drive?
It's a big ass disk drive. It's an IBM, I think. It has the IBM logo on it.
Oh,
Time
so
for
someone ripped
cheesecake.
that off from an IBM PC and popped it in there.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a full size drive rather than a half size.
Yeah.
Half-size.
No. This machine
Okay.
takes full size, it has full size slots. And you know what? Now that I said that, now that I saw and said that, yeah, that's not something Compaq would have put in these. Someone did their own hard drive upgrade on this machine.
Sure.
And
Yeah, probably because they found one cheaper.
yeah.
I'm surprised that he didn't find a 20 meg. Whew, whopping 20 megs.
Yeah, it's now the thing that sucks
I
though.
just ordered a couple of memory sticks that are 128 gigs. Not that that's
I should
huge
have
by
had
today's
beer.
standards.
We've come a long way. Anyways,
and it's USB 2.0. Because I'm cheap. They were only $8 a piece. Oh,
Um,
I'm sorry. They weren't 128. They were 64 gigabytes.
What?
But since there were two, do
is
the
someone
math.
clucking?
Sorry,
It's
those are
not
my
on
chickens.
end. Your
I have
chicken?
chickens.
Lulu,
Your
are you getting ready to lay? I mean,
No, no.
I thought they only did that early in the morning.
No, they do that all
24/7,
time
baby.
of day.
Or is that the hens?
All time of
rather than
day.
All
rather than the
times
rooster?
of day. Anyways, as you can see, we got a C prompt, and we've got now. Here's the thing I don't have. So the other card that was in here that has a battery on it was kind of a multi-purpose 3-in-1 type of card that did three things. One, upgrades the RAM to be a total of 640K. Two, adds a serial and parallel port, and three, has a built-in clock with battery, as long as you have the right software to use it. I don't.
Yep.
I don't know where to find the proper software for this obscure 1980s clock ISA card.
What
though.
is the brand?
IDE is what it said on it. I have a picture.
That's probably just the card slot.
Well, no, it's an ISA slot, but well, what the card
Oh yeah, okay.
what the card
Yeah.
says on it, IDE Associates Inc. 384 combination. 384 being the amount of
Oh.
RAM that's adding to bring it up to 640. Part number 100-026-001.
This is all on one card.
Yeah.
All on one
This
card.
typing is this font. This is the description on the card. ID Associates Inc. 384 combination. Part number 100-026-001.
Did you Google that?
Yes.
And you got results of nothing?
Nothing like it.
Now, do you know? Did you kind of look into the clock chip that it uses?
That I've not figured out. I did post about this on a vintage computer forum, and someone responded back and says, looks like it supplies 384K of RAM and ports. Maybe it's AST 6-pack compatible if lucky. And I did a Google search. AST 6-pack was a common type of card that does exactly that. Adds 384K
Yeah, that was the
RAM.
big competitor for a company that I worked for.
So I have...
Where AST moved forward and got bought up by somebody, I forget who. The company I worked for went out of business.
So I tried the software for an AST 6-pack card, and it does not communicate with my card or do any clock settings or anything. Now, there's a page that is filled with software for clock cards, but none of them are labeled as being IDE Inc. or IDE Associates Inc. Basically, someone said there's a good chance one of the things on this page works, and there's a lot of those things to try. And keep in mind, what I have to do is I have to download it on this computer, save it on a USB thumb drive, take the USB thumb drive over to my XP machine that has USB ports and a 5¼ inch drive, transfer them from the USB key to the floppy disks there, and then bring that disk onto this computer here.
Pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward. Yeah, I'm really wishing for USB ports on this computer right about now is where I'm at.
Remember I told you that stack of crappy old Dell notebooks that I had?
Yeah.
And I told you that I recycled them? The big reason why I recycled them because there was no USB support, no ports at all.
Oh, yeah, that's a
This is,
good...
You know, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to stick with the old technology.
Well, one thing I found that helps...
Yeah, I'm not going to use a floppy drive to move data around.
They do make add-on cards that will take compact flash cards or SD cards. So if you do want to work with vintage computers and you want an easy way to transfer data or to emulate a old hard drive if you don't have an original hard drive working or want something that's going to be faster than the original hard drive, cards like that are good. My apologies to Lulu for boring the crap out of her right now.
No, that's fine. Go
She's
right
still
ahead.
reading the chat stuff.
I'm just gonna stash that cable so it might not move more.
So you have one hard disk drive and one floppy drive in that machine?
Yes.
You considered getting half-height deals so you can get more
That's
stuff
not
in there?
that's not the era of this machine, Brian. I'm not looking to. I want this machine to be what it is, not what was going to come later. That's not.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
not. I don't think that's even a time period upgrade people were doing on these machines. It had 2 full-size slots. That's what you used on this. When you got to that era, if you wanted to do more, you bought the new model. I would think.
No, actually, most of those full-size slots, you can get essentially a little cage that puts 2 half-height drives together, and you can jam it in there.
I have. Not that I've looked at
Although it has to be able to fit.
I've not run across a compact portable that someone did that in. That doesn't mean it never happened or was not or was uncommon, but I'm just
right
saying.
away we know that there's something wrong
Mhm.
because the hard drive has the embedded thing on it that says IBM. Those 3 little letters that make it wrong.
Right. Someone
Not to be picky.
No. But it's a time period correct upgrade. It's time period correct hardware. It's not a pure compact build, but people didn't always. Basically, someone added an IBM hard drive, so they added a different controller card, and they added a third-party clock card.
Sure.
Now, if I could find a compact clock card, it would work with the clock files that I have on my compact DOS that's installed on here.
Now, your clock card is a combo card, right?
Right.
Memory space. Do you have the memory chips in there?
The memory chips did take. Here, if I run the demo, one of the things that I got to do that from the. I put DOS in its own folder. If I run the demo has an option to basically tell you what hardware you have. We just have to wait for the animation to run at the super fast pace that it runs at, and the menu will come up.
And it says that card is the IDE corporation, whatever it is.
It doesn't reference the card specifically, but it references the stuff that the card has. So if I click for what you have, here's what I have. I have 640K bytes of RAM. I have 2 disk drives, 1 fixed disk drive, 2 printer ports because the floppy controller has a printer port and this add-on card has a printer port. So now I have 2 printer ports. One RS-232 port. I'm thinking that's the second port that's on that combo card. So it sees the RAM. It sees the ports, but it doesn't see the clock portion. It needs software for the clock portion.
Well, but I mean, the thing doesn't recognize it. In other words, it wasn't looking for that chip.
Well, it's not looking for that.
I mean, if it's saw that trip, then you say, I've got a hope that I can find the software for.
Well, guys.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's the software that sees it.
Guys.
Yes?
It's a large clock.
It's a.
I'm sorry, what?
It's a large clock.
I wasn't sure how that was funny.
Brian, it sees the card. It can communicate with the card.
Yeah.
It's just that the clock uses its own software because there's no generic software that was made to work with that
I got
clock.
that, but it wasn't there to detect that clock chip. That's all I'm saying.
Well, there's nothing.
It detected the memory. It didn't say that it was on this card.
Because memory is universal.
But it also doesn't say, oh, these ports are on this card and that's on that card.
You know what's funny?
It just says that those things are there.
Okay.
And it doesn't have the ability to see the clock chip.
Hold on.
Yes, ma'am.
I got something technology.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So in what was it? Season 15, episode 5 of Ancient Aliens. Basically rewired the VHS tape to run in a different VHS player.
Cool.
Okay, that's cool. I'll give you that one.
By the way, since you're on TV shows,
Yes.
Oak Island is definitely coming toward the end.
No.
They're
Yes,
already
yes,
talking
it
about
is.
shows of after Oak Island. And so they're bigging this thing
Wait.
that's going right to the money
No,
pit.
no. If they're doing shows about after Oak Island, that means they're still doing Oak Island shows because they've
No.
not found any treasure. They're not going to find any treasure.
Okay, so no, I'm not just going to disagree with it, John, but listen to this. So,
Dude, I want to see Skinwalker Ranch.
you know, I watched the first episode, I've seen parts of others, and I just don't get into that show. There's nothing that draws
you don't
me in
wanna
there.
see
It's like a
Skinwalker
stupid
Ranch.
ghost story. Sorry.
No, it's not a stupid ghost story. You want to know why? Because
Why?
Project Blue Book has
Oh
covered
my
it.
God.
Yep.
Okay. There's been a lot of
Shatner's thing covered it in the
Yes.
his unknown, whatever we call, which he
Yes.
also
Kidding
covered
me.
Oak Island.
No, I'm
yes.
So okay, so Johnny, just so you know,
But no,
So they're
no,
drilling-
no. Skinwalker Ranch is like a top thing, though. That's the thing. It's a really hot subject. It's more of a hot subject than Oak Island. They just pulled Oak Island out of their fucking ass. It was a hat trick, man. They had a bunch of things, shook it up in a bag, and fucking pulled it out and said, we're doing Oak Island.
well, the brothers talked the History Channel into doing that show. You know, they're the guys that are shall we say, the geniuses. Now,
How are they
Johnny,
the
so here's what's
geniuses?
going on. Here's what's going on. And you might be 100% correct. They might be finding nothing. So what they're doing right now is they're drilling this huge hole. It's like 8 feet wide. Right at the spot where they believe that the money pit is. And they're hauling out some old log. Hang on. Old logs that were put in by the original people that created the money pit.
That
Okay.
created the scam to bilk investors out of their money.
Hang on. And so when they get to the bottom,
Which money pit are
and
they
they're
going to
very
drill?
close.
The money pit that they think is a money pit this week, or the pit that they thought was a money pit last week, or the pit that they're going to discover
well,
2 weeks from
they
now?
kept missing it. 2 years ago, they built this smaller hole, although it's pretty damn big, and they completely missed, and they knew it. They did hit something which they think is that chapel vault, but they couldn't get through to it. At that point, the grinding edge of the drill mechanism was all broken up.
Spoiler alerts, they're going to find nothing.
No, and it's very possible. I don't disagree with you. What their goal is, and they've even said this, if we find nothing, then at least we've put the entire story together. So that's why they're going to Smith Cove, they're going to the swamp, they're going to the different areas of the money pit. They're saying, okay, so there's this searcher tunnel. They've found the box drains. They have an understanding of how the flood tunnels work.
I have a thing.
Oh.
I am very surprised that the EPA isn't after their asses because they have
they're in
destroyed.
Canada.
Oh,
They're
they're
in
in
Canada.
Canada? Well, I think
Yeah.
Canada has one, and I am really fucking surprised they haven't gotten
Now,
after
they're
them.
very careful with that. Because if you'll notice, they'll do something and then they cover it up again. In fact, they just did this big borehole where they missed,
Uh-huh.
and then they filled it in again.
Okay.
So they're being very careful and they go to these different sites. They go to this old cabin, and they would have to get permission to do some digging, and then they fill it back up. Or they says, okay, we have this, we want to go a little bit further, but yeah, we'll have to fill it back up. So
Do you
yeah,
know
Oh my
how
God.
interesting
by
this
the
is?
rules.
Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub, Sofa Pana. Is it Soda
Yay.
Pana or Sofa Pana? Anyway, thank you.
Up, Anna.
Thank you for the sub.
TA.
Yeah, Soda Panda, which is because while you're all...
It's Ted. It's Ted.
Hey, Ted.
It's Ted. Hello, Ted. Yeah, while you're all discussing your little fun
Yeah, I was about to
TV
say,
show there,
dude, was so interesting.
I've
You're playing Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah, the real interesting thing is going on the bottom right portion of the screen right now. Because
Okay, so here's the challenge, Johnny.
yes,
There's like 3 episodes of Oak Island left, and then I think the series is done. I'm pretty certain of it.
Can I get that in
If
writing?
you watch it and they find nothing,
No.
then you've got something to hold over me.
I don't have to watch it to hold this over you, Brian.
No, you have to see the
No, I
evidence of
don't.
proof.
No, I do not. I will
Otherwise,
not
you
watch
know
it
nothing.
and hold it over
You're
you.
still stuck on the Reader's Digest article from 40 years ago.
It was
or
National
whatever it was, 50 years
Geographic
ago.
World, and it lied to me.
Lied to you.
I
Well,
can't.
there's different stories of it.
See,
One was National Geographic.
the
Some was
the real story
Reader's
here is
Digest.
if you can't go to the bar, bring the bar to you. And that's what I have done.
Yes.
Because now I am a guy named Larry wearing a classy suit sitting at the bar is what I am doing right now with all my
Yeah,
friends.
okay.
The guy next to
Okay.
me who won't stop telling jokes. The other guys that never talk. And the lady that threatens to have her boyfriend beat me up if I try to pick her up. It's just like being at the bar.
Yeah.
I never played that game.
You never
I've
played
seen
this.
it around for. I've seen it around for years and years and years. Never got around to playing it.
Well, this game taught me valuable life lessons. Like, if you're going to have sex with a hooker, you wear a condom. If you're going to wear a condom, don't wear it in public. If a guy tries to sell you an apple in front of a casino, buy it from him because you're going to want to always have an apple on hand in case you find yourself naked in a hot tub with a hot girl. Let's see, what other lessons I learned?
And that needs an Apple?
Yes, that's that.
Apple computer or...
Funny you should mention that because it's totally a joke. If you ask the guy who's selling apples out of a barrel what his name is, he tells you his name is Steve. If you ask him what his last name is, he tells you, well, my friends call me Waz, but I don't consider you my friend.
Ted says I played at age 10 and got VD from the hooker.
You too, huh? Yeah,
Whoa.
if you don't take the condom off after you're done sleeping with the hooker and then you walk outside the bar, you get arrested for indecent exposure because apparently he decided to just leave it hanging out of his pants.
Yeah, but it was in a skin, right?
I don't. Apparently, he didn't zip up his fly after he was done. Also, if you pick up a chick at the disco who wants to marry you after you give her chocolates, a flower, and a diamond ring and $100 cash, make sure to have a pocket knife on you so you can escape after she ties you to the bed and robs you of all your money.
Oh, so we've been watching Boston Legal, with Bill Shatner and James Spader. That was a great show. They're lawyers. So James Spader's character takes his girlfriend to a bar, and he's, they're acknowledged, yeah, she's the girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. And he explains to her it's the pursuit, right, that excites him. So they agree she's going to go to the bar. They were just sitting at a table, and she would sit down and see what would happen. And sure enough, in seconds, some guy comes up next to her, is trying to hit on her. And she's kind of deflecting this stuff. And then he comes up and explains that she's his girlfriend, blah, 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 blah. And then this guy takes a swing at him. Now, James Spader is not exactly a huge guy, so he goes to the end of the bar and he sees these other guys that are after some action. So he says, hey, you see that guy? You think you could take him? And he gives the guy, I'll give you $300 if he hits the floor. In fact, the next 100 if you hit the floor. So he's ready to give him $400 to take the guy out. Why should I fight? I could get another guy to fight because he wants to, right?
Right.
And so then he goes in and gets the fight going, and then they see that there's other guys that are joining the other guy. So he starts handing out money to that guy's buddies. So there's a big brawl that gets going on. And they're just kind of sitting back and enjoying the show. That's the way to do it. Of course, you have to have money in your pocket for that.
OX64 writes in, is this game even allowed on Twitch?
What game? Oh, Larry?
Leisure Suit Larry. Yeah, they put a censored sign up that when you have sex with the hooker, they make the censored sign move up and down to give you an idea of what's going on behind it. But we basically just got the pimp to step away from blocking the stairway by putting porn on the television. So remember, if you're ever at a bar, buy a shot of whiskey, balance it in your pocket, and give it to the first bum you see hanging out in the hallway to the bathroom, and he'll give you the remote control to the TV.
On your compact computer?
Yes, I am.
Now, are you showing it on one of the screens for Twitch?
Yeah. The CGA video card has a composite output, and the cool thing about CGA composite graphics is it's better than CGA monitor graphics because it could do color blending to get more colors out of the palette. Because if I were to go over here and change the graphics mode, it'll change it to the four color CGA mode, which looks like ass.
Lulu, is this a Tedward thing that I'm thinking of?
So there we
Deadwood.
After this.
Well, we're just going to go up to the hooker's room now. Or do we have another topic that doesn't involve buried treasure on islands that is all a scam for money?
Translation, the boobs look less pixelated.
Yes, there you go. There's no boobs in this game, unfortunately.
No, they're pixelated. They just look like, what is it?
All right, so here's
triangles.
Here's an important life lesson. Here's what not to do. So we're going to strip in front of the hooker's bed right now. And there we go. Full frontal. Right there on the screen. Oh my God, we might get banned for this. And now we're going to type sex. And look at him go. He is going right now. This is some of the steamiest stuff we have ever seen on this show right here.
It's covered with a censored flashing.
Right. Now, mind you, we have not taken the cab out to the store to buy a prophylactic. So this is unprotected sex we're having right now with the hooker, which is a no-no.
Ooh, they're going bareback.
Yeah. And also, I just got bad breath. And so right mid-coitus, the hooker has asked me to do something about my breath. But there we go. So we're going to go ahead. And what's the best way to leave a hooker's room? Climb out the window and go down the fire escape. It's much quicker than going out the front door.
Don't forget to put your pants on first.
We didn't use a condom, so he's got his pants on. We're gonna.
And Ted, I never knew this about you.
We're gonna get a disease, is what's gonna happen.
So you got a disease from the critter?
Yeah, we got a disease from the hooker. Once you hit the front of the bar.
No, not hooker. Critter.
It's censored. Why?
Because.
Well, you can also call it a curb creature.
You can call it whatever you want. Anyways, once you go to the front of the bar after having unprotected sex with the hooker, it starts the animation of the little pixelated bugs crawling
curb
around
creature.
your pants. There we go. We got something going on there. It appears that the hooker gave you a little more than you bargained for.
Or shag nasty.
Oh, X-Ray again. I mean, what else do you do with a 30-year-old PC with 10 megabytes and a shady clock? You get VD from a hooker.
And that's why I'm surprised at Ted. Ted, as long as I've known you, that that blows me away. You know, you getting VD from a hooker at age 10? 10?
Oh, man. While life may be possible, it is no longer worth living.
Nothing has changed, honestly. That's what he writes.
Pretty much.
There you go. And this is where we find out what happens when Larry dies. When Larry dies, he goes to the underground Sierra workshop where his dead corpse is recycled into new Larry bodies that they then lift up to start a new game.
Oh.
I see.
Yeah, that's a funny little thing there, where they kind of show, as
Oh,
if
he just gets ground up and put through a mold?
right, and then they mold new Larrys. You see, they molded his body into a bunch of new bodies, and they have some spare heads on hand that were already made. They just twist a new head on, and now we get
Oh my god.
and that's how we get a new Larry every time we die. Is
Dad said he's like a chicken nugget.
yeah, pretty much.
Oh my god, ew.
With your new body and ego, you are returned to fight again the battle of lost wages. Now you know what we have to go through every time you press that restart key.
From now on, I'm going to call them Leisure Suit Larry. Chicken nuggets are now Leisure Suit Larrys.
So there we go. We're back at the front of the bar.
Wow.
Brand new game. No more VD. VD be gone.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what you can
Honestly,
do.
It's insane.
Go ahead.
You got to find the person who created this game and interview them on this show.
Oh, that guy is way too
So-
famous for this show. Al Lowe. He's
So
done many
I
interviews.
I bought the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Heroes or whatever it's called,
Uh-huh.
for the Xbox One. And, I had looked at some YouTube reviews of it, and they said they really liked it. And then, I get into the game, and it's boring, takes a long time to load up and update and all this kind of crap. Get into the game. So I'm following this character around. He climbs up these stairs, and then the stairs collapse, and then you have to figure out, how do I get around this? And I couldn't figure it out, so I go to YouTube to find out, find a walkthrough.
Yeah, just
So
like we
then I
did
go
when we
into
were
this
kids.
extensive walkthrough that goes on for an hour.
Oh.
Thank you very much. And I get into it, the part where he's, oh, I see, there's this rope that hangs there, and you just jump out and you grab it, and that's how you cross this big chasm. Otherwise, you die.
Right.
And then you go along, and then you go, okay, then what I do? I'm going to have to go back to a YouTube video and look again, and I realized,
Well, it
Okay, this
remembers the
is
last
really
place you left
boring.
off.
and this is really boring, so I go to that video and I post, I wish I saw this video before I bought it. I looked at other reviews and it was fine, but I realized now that this game just kind of drags on and is boring. And this is one of those video guys that's all enthusiastic. Oh, it's wonderful. Look at this we do. Look at this we do. How long did it take him to figure all that stuff out? I don't know. I find the controls to be clunky. Then again, I'm not a big gamer, so.
I don't
Like,
know.
okay, so I'm going to
Yeah.
continue playing a little bit, but again, in fact, I said, well, I wish I actually just bought something like Doom where I could just shoot people.
Well, you could do that. You can go buy Doom.
Should have got a Wing Commander.
Actually, I
Wing
just did.
Commander.
I just did.
Privateer.
Well, there you go. Problem solved.
That's a much better game.
And Lulu has this scared look at it on her face because she knows that I just want to kill people.
No, demons.
Right?
You want to kill demons. You're
Oh,
playing
Demon.
Doom.
Oh, because it's Doom. That's right.
Right. Right. Now, if you were playing Wolfenstein 3D, then you're killing people, but they're Nazis, so it's okay.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I've never played that. I kind of considered it because you can actually get those fairly cheap.
Oh yeah.
And
Kill
this
all the
package that I got
Nazis.
is the BSG, BD,
Yeah.
whatever it is, version, and it includes Xbox One and
Mhm.
Xbox 360.
And the best part of playing Doom is that while you're playing Doom, you're not watching shows about fake treasure that doesn't exist. That's the best
Yeah,
I
part.
don't like
That's
Doom.
right.
I don't like Doom.
I haven't played it that much, but yeah, I remember it. And also, I told the guys this game is why people are into retro gaming, because today's games are boring. They have all
Wait.
this eye candy that nobody really cares about.
Wait a minute. Doom is why people are into. Oh, you mean the boring game that you tried to play
The Jedi Lost Masters or whatever.
is why people are. Well, there's something to that, but there's a lot.
And it's like, wait a second. Wait a second.
what?
And where's the freaking lightsaber? And how does that thing, the thumb wrestling machine handle, turn into a lightsaber? I mean, it's absurd. What am I supposed to go like this? I got a lightsaber because I have wicked imagination. Yeah, there is no lightsaber actually. Not on this first part. You're just following this dude for some reason because he's going to show you marvelous things. Eye candy.
Play Privateer.
Not Larry's
You
type
can
of
kill
eye
you
candy.
can kill everybody in that game.
Yeah.
What game? Doom?
Privateer.
So
Privateer.
what's this about? The heads on Easter Island containing real brains? I'm sorry. Someone typed that in the chat room.
No. Ted typed
What?
that.
Yeah.
Typed that in the chat room. Season 15, episode 5 of Ancient Aliens, when they're talking about this magnetic tape that can hold information. Basically, the the reincarnation of a VHS tape in the VHS player.
Okay.
They were also talking about stones holding information within them, and they were basically stone heads, but they were found in South America, within the jungles of like the Amazon, and they were basically saying that these stone heads had brains.
Huh.
Did they drill a hole in the head to see if they could
No.
find the gray matter?
No. If there's one thing we learned,
This is my problem with Ancient Aliens. It's kind of like not really history, and it's not really science. It's kind of like
Yeah.
this pseudo bullshit.
yeah, that's
Pseudo bullshit. Well, you know what? Yours is pseudo bullshit.
and there's
What?
one thing I learned from listening to
Oak
podcasts.
Island?
It's don't drill a hole in your head.
That's right. That's right.
That's
But
yeah.
are you saying Oak Island is bullshit,
Yes.
Lulu?
Yes.
Lulu.
Like, yes.
No, and
Thank
that's fine,
you.
But at least they're applying science to it. They're not making
No,
things
they're not
up.
applying
They're
science
trying
to
to
it.
figure out what was going on there. They're trying to put together a story.
Trying.
Yes. Do I buy
They're
that the Templars
bilking
visited before
money
Columbus was
Out
there?
of TV executives is what they're doing.
But that's why I like the Project Blue book better. I really like the Project Blue.
No,
book.
no. I'm not saying that. I'm reading what Ted.
Yes, Ted wrote in
Was
Ancient
saying.
Aliens 1. What if it were true that? 2. Could it be true that? 3. Answers might found at. 4. What if it were possible that? Yeah, speculation is what that
Yeah,
is.
it's all It's all
Yes.
speculation.
When you don't
And
have
that's fine.
science or facts or
Not at
history,
all.
you have speculation.
I mean, like, they do
But
bring
why,
up some
why aren't
interesting
they on
things.
either the Sci-Fi Channel or a fake history channel?
No,
Because
some
they
real
do.
history
Fictional channel. There
Because
should be a
they
fiction
do.
channel that covers it.
Every channel's a fiction
Well,
channel.
Yeah, they're not so
Wait,
fictional.
Well,
They
of course,
found
history
things.
was
They
written by
found
winners.
things that are kind of factual.
There is a fiction channel. It's called Fox News. Bam! Okay.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Moving right along.
I'll agree with
That's
that
current.
Oh, right. A history fiction channel. Oh, okay. Moving right along.
You know, like the Star Wars saga is a fake history story.
Because
right?
it happened a long,
long
time ago.
in galaxies
Galaxy
far away.
away.
They found more artifacts and Asian aliens than they did in Oak Island.
Yes. Thank you, Venison.
Well, this is true, but Ancient Aliens is pretty much global. I mean, they go to every part of the world, right?
Well, yeah, because they went global.
Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit to be found globally, is what there is.
Whereas Oak Island is focused on this tiny little island that people are afraid to stay there overnight.
This is bullshit. This
Yeah.
is bullshit.
Yeah.
Nope, it's not.
Tell you what. I am so convinced that the Oak Island thing is bullshit. I'll sleep there for a night, no problem.
Yeah. Okay.
I have
I'll
no.
go with that.
Someone gets me a ticket and a trip out there. I will sleep there overnight, and I will sleep like a baby.
On the island.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Oh, I
I'd
thought.
definitely go there.
I thought you said
I
that
would
everyone's
definitely
scared
go
to
there.
sleep there overnight.
Yeah. But I would definitely go there.
All right. Yeah. As long as you don't mind me bringing a TV and putting some Steve Harvey on at night, that would be fine.
I don't know if you would have electricity there
I'll bring a battery.
because they don't exactly have a place to rent a camp.
Generator.
You'd have to sneak onto the island with a tent and camp there.
I'll bring a
And
lap.
so you'd have
I'll
to
bring a
have-
laptop with a few Family Feud episodes pre-saved on it, and enough battery power to last me a few hours, so I can get to sleep.
Yeah.
There we go. There we
Or
go.
haul this thing that's in front of you with a car battery and an inverter.
This thing can't
You
play
totally
Family
gotta
Feud
do that.
videos. What are you
Well,
nuts?
that's true.
This ain't useful for falling asleep. This thing makes so much fan noise and motor noise. I can't sleep with this thing
I
on.
was actually going to say that. How do you filter that out? Because I'm not hearing any of that from your
Well, my microphone is gated, and it's also cardioid,
noise
which means
canceling.
well, it's cardioid, so
Oh.
it picks up more on the
okay.
front and the sides than on the back. But if I were to
Right.
turn around and get real close there, and if I turn the noise gate off, there we go.
Yeah, as a deep hum. Well, it's a fairly low frequency, so that's probably easy to filter, right?
I think that's the microphone being rattled.
No, I hear those bumps, but there's a low hum, like you're doing yoga.
Yeah. So there you go.
I find that when I say a line and Lulu doesn't react at all, it's just it just wants me to
Oh.
be challenging me more.
Well, that used to mean that
to
Doctor
say
Who
something
was on.
funny. Doctor Who?
Yeah, when Lulu would stop responding, we used to know that that's when that meant that Doctor Who had started.
Oh, because she watches Doctor Who.
Because she would
or
watch
because
Doctor
we're talking
Who,
about it?
and Doctor Who was on during our show. So once Doctor Who started, she was just gone. And
So Lulu, what episode of Doctor Who is playing?
I'm not watching Doctor Who. I'm
Oh.
talking with the chat
So who is your favorite Doctor?
because David Tennant.
Oh, okay. No, he's cool. Yeah. I mean,
I like
To me,
I like the
Tom
guy
Baker
with
was
the
the
long
best.
scarf.
but then again,
Tom
that was
Baker.
the first one that I watched.
yeah,
Mhm.
Oh yeah, he was awesome.
yeah.
And even
That
he
guy
admits
with
that
the
he was
scarf.
just playing himself. So he's kind of a weirdo.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Is that the guy with the scarf?
Yes, Tom Baker was
Well,
the one
yeah.
with the scarf.
And the
Okay,
and the
yeah.
Jelly Bellies.
I think
The
the
Jelly Bellies.
the story was like they gave the prop person some yarn and said, "Here, make a scarf," and she misunderstood and thought that the instructions were, "Here, make a scarf and use all of this yarn that we gave you." And so she just kept making a scarf until the yarn was gone, and they were like, "What are we gonna do with?" Okay, we'll make it work, and that's why
It did.
that's why the Tom Baker version of the Doctor has this super long scarf.
I liked him a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was pretty cool.
but he was the fourth Doctor, right?
What was the guy's name that came after him? Thinking
don't-
Davidson or
I don't know.
something like that.
I just know that there
and
was.
he had a smaller scarf, so he was kind of playing homage to Tom Baker, but he didn't last that long. And then the guy that came after him, I actually hated. Sad.
Oh.
Oh well. And also, something for Lulu. As far as the Ancient Aliens go, now I sit there and watched this on another history thing. Wasn't necessarily about aliens, but they found, in India, some, undiscovered temple. They went inside and found some historical tapestries, that show what happened in period at the time. What they found was like, whoa. And turns out, yeah, we had an alien invasion, sort of, back about, I think it was about 3000 BC or so.
Oh yeah, we totally, of course, alien invasion.
Yeah,
of
but
3,000 years ago, right?
dude, this was a historical tapestry. This was the thing that was happening at the time. This was the real shit from them, from whoever lived in that temple, recording history. And they said that, these guys, when it came down, and the slave... Shut up! You get to there and talk about all this compact shit, and, when Doctor Who
No. This is the backing music
Don't
when
even.
you talk about conspiracy theories, so please continue.
Yeah, this wasn't a conspiracy theory, though. This was fact. Now, like I said, these guys came down, enslaved those people to gather resources. Well, it turns out
Well, this
we
is where
had.
the whole Stargate mythology comes from.
Well, you see, and apparently we had friends, up there also, because they came
Okay, Johnny,
down.
you can turn that
And
down.
so, yes, really. And they came in, to help us. And there was a big war that happened, that broke out.
And that was
And
called the
even
Star
nukes-
Wars.
And even nukes were used in
No,
some
Stargate.
places. Now
They
then,
used the Stargate to come in from other planets.
go to Asian Aliens, and they mentioned that the fact that there was a war that happened, and quite a few places were lost, including Krishna was involved in that too. Which is why that they found that sunken city off the coast of India, and I just there's little odd facts, like I think when England or Scotland or something like that, there was an ancient walled city that they found, in which the stone was glassed over, and in one of those spots they went and found a mass grave, and and the people in there, still had radiation signatures. They had all died from between the bombing.
So
or
there was a
radiation
nuclear
poisoning.
explosion of some sort.
Yep.
Thousands of years ago.
Yep.
Now, the interesting thing is there's some good evidence that humans in our current state have been on this planet probably 500,000 years or longer. Granted, we have evolved some, but human history is only about 10,000 years old. Most. In fact, it's more like 8. I find that
All right, love
fascinating.
you.
But then again,
Yeah.
one of the explanations for that is, humans tend to congregation in the low areas, particularly along the oceans and the coastal areas. And we've had sea level rise for, 10,000, even beyond 10,000 years. Because 10,000 years we had the glacial ice melting, rising the oceans. So the cities that were out further are now underwater.
Mookie writes in,
which
"Oh,
just
I
in
love you
itself
too,
could
Lulu.
explain
No need to shout."
What happened to Atlantis? Sorry, Lulu?
Yeah, Mookie wrote in, "I love you too, Lulu. No need to shout."
And hey, taking the train off its rails. What the hell?
This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Total bullshit.
Better than Oak Island.
So
Okay.
Lulu, what do you think of all this?
Oh, it's my turn to talk finally because
Yeah.
I've been honestly trying to get a word in, but I
Please.
guess I'm
Wave your hand. Wave your hand when you're trying to get in.
So
Easy.
about Venison's thing, the one thing Ancient Aliens likes to do is they'll take something like that and they'll say, well, it could be aliens or it could be their interpretation of a war that started with another culture or another race. They give you two options, two scenarios of what may have happened because of how the race that they're looking at and how they interpret it on the tapestry. So it's not just a finite thing that they're saying, and that's something that I like about Ancient Aliens. It gives you different options and different things to look at.
They explain history the way it's understood, and then they show I'm just going to say wacky alternatives.
Yes, the wacky alternatives, and they let you come up with whatever you think is correct, or if you want to meld them together or whatever. Because
and to me, it becomes they slide off the table of science onto the table of what could be considered religion.
Yes.
Because then, we believe that that's what this is. That's where it becomes religion.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because even if it's a monotheistic religion or a polytheistic religion, they still, once you go back far enough, you kind of get kind of muddled there. Because whether you try and find out the truth behind the fables and the legends that brought this religion to being, you can try and figure out if it's historically correct or if it was environmentally correct, like Noah's Ark. Okay.
Yeah.
Being Noah? Well, him being Noah, for one. The ark itself having two animals, and two of each animals, plants and whatever, and then the flood itself. There was many different interpretations of this throughout different cultures and other religions. So, if you think about it, they did like a whole I think 2 or 3 episodes of this, and they were saying that it was probably Ancient Aliens, or there was an ark, because they did show evidence of what was on top of Mount
Ararat.
Ararat, yeah, on top of Mount Ararat, which seemed to have been a ship of some sort. And I saw in another documentary where they were actually pulling off pieces of wood. Okay, they were, but there's no finite answer how you can have two of each animal from around the world, and how they would come together, and how big this
Right.
the ship is. So they give you questions to answer for yourself whether or not this is going to be real or not, or how this is being perceived. Because could it be the religion? Could it be how it was passed down from say the word of mouth through tradition before it was written down? Or
Sure.
was it that type of thing?
Right.
And so that's what they do. And they make you sort of open your head a little bit and look at all these different things with
Sure.
the different episodes. Sorry, I've watched way too much of this when I'm stoned.
Right.
So
It's very possible that
Best
it's
line of
very
the show.
possible that one interpretation, let's say the flood mythology, is that because there was some type of flood, because it hit such a large area, it was considered global. The whole Earth must be covered with this.
Yes.
Now, one of the explanations is at one point the Black Sea was a freshwater lake, huge, and then it gained a lot of water from, say, ice melt or something like this, and it broke through into the Mediterranean, flooding the whole region.
Yeah. Ted Wright again, cheering 100 biddies. Thank you. What if it were true that insert outrageous hypothesis? Ancient astronaut theorists say yes.
Now the Dune. There's something you said here. That dude with the wild hair is the best. I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens.
I'm not saying it's
that
aliens.
Dude, that dude.
The guy.
But it's aliens.
Wait, Brian. Now that dude, as far as I'm concerned, shouldn't have been on there because he was a comic relief. Yeah, they had to bring somebody in there slightly crazy.
Like Mo.
Yeah, they had to bring in there somebody slightly crazy, so it would produce doubt. Because all he has to do is say, "I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens." Yeah, okay, real good. Bring the believability
I find it
up.
difficult to take him too seriously.
No,
because he looks like Mo. Right?
Yeah.
Now, did you ever get into Battlestar? Babylon 5?
Oh yeah.
And they have the one alien race that looks like Mo.
No,
right?
I never got into Babylon or Battlestar Galactica.
You know what I'm talking about? Venison. He looks like Mo with that hairdo.
I think so.
And so there is this discussion between the actor and the producer that went something like this. So they put that thing on, and the actor thought that's what the producer wanted. And the producer looked at it and says, well, I guess that's what the actor wanted. But they both really hated it. But they got stuck it because they thought the other guy liked it. Is that funny?
Yeah.
It is.
Of course, then everybody else in that race had to use the same nonsense. Wearing that. Can I be a different alien?
No. No. Oh, so have you guys heard of Emmanuel Velikovsky?
Who?
Emmanuel
No.
Velikovsky. Okay, so Emmanuel Velikovsky came up with some theories. I forgot if he was like a librarian or like a dishwasher, but
Really a
He-
brilliant person.
no, but he worked in the science department, but he was interested
What
in
the
astronomy. And so he looked, and he was interested in human history. So he was, and the Bible and everything. And so he took out pieces of the Bible, and he looked at astronomy, and he looked at human history, and he found this idea that through evolution and everything. Thank you, Mookie.
Oh, Mookie wrote in a message.
Yeah. Yeah, independent scholar. Thank you. So,
And Ted, thanks a lot.
Independent scholar translate to be dishwasher. Go ahead.
translates to being dishwasher, because he had another job aside from being an independent scholar. But
I mean, it's
he,
like Einstein was worked in a patent office, early
Right.
in his career.
Right.
That's where he developed relativity.
yeah. So anyways, Immanuel Velikovsky work is frequently cited as canonical example of pseudoscience and has been used as an example of demarcation problem. Demarcation problem?
Demarcation?
Demarcation?
Demarcation, maybe? I don't know. I'm guessing. Oops, wrong keyboard. Demarcation.
I know it's pseudoscience, but it's an interesting. His work is interesting and sort of lets you look at the concept of ancient history, especially early ancient history, in all aspects. It's really interesting.
Oh.
Because at one point in one of his books, he brings up the fact that Venus was not in its place where it first belonged. It moved into that place, and when it did, it moved across Earth and almost hit Earth, and it caused some of the catastrophes that were mentioned in different histories in the Bible and everything.
So I'm sorry,
And-
that was Immanuel what again?
Immanuel Velikovsky.
Velikovsky.
Believe it or not, I saw that part.
Velikovsky, and it's Immanuel. You can find, yeah, Immanuel.
There you go. Yeah, Russian psychiatrist.
Yeah.
I saw that on How the Universe Works. They were talking about the different orbits and the shifting around and stuff. But
And
Venus
he's dead.
did that long ago.
He is dead now. Yes, Mookie. He also said about the Earth being a proto-Saturn.
Turning
And about Noah's flood. Yeah, he was saying that too, but prior to Noah's flood, and prior, I think, before Adam and Eve, Venus had crossed paths with Earth, and it left us in a.
Oh, so he has a book called Worlds in Collision.
He has many
from
books.
1950, and it discussed the mythical records of Venus and Mars catastrophe.
Yes. Was it Venus and Mars? I thought it was Venus and Earth.
Well, that's what Wikipedia says.
Okay.
Sometimes they're wrong.
Time to get another VD.
Oh, okay. So there was a periodic close contacts with Mars that caused havoc in the 8th and 7th centuries BC.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
But his work is interesting because he mentioned at some point that humans were living off of a substance called mana, and it fell from the heavens because the earth was scorched, and
Right.
there was no animals to be seen. There was no water.
Which is
there was
why
no...
the Hebrews, as they were leaving Egypt, how the Hebrews leaving Egypt survived that trek. You know, after Moses led the way.
Yeah.
Totally into that.
And the earth was scorched. There was no food. There was nothing to
Right.
eat, and so they feasted on manna, and that's how they got through the so many years until the earth was plentiful again.
Okay.
Right. Of course, the Hebrews were wandering, so they didn't have a place, and they were going through the desert, so they didn't have a way to grow things.
No, they didn't. So he talks about that, and it's
Right.
kind of interesting to see that point of view. And that
Right. Yeah. Right. Sure. Well, I mean, it is from that specific point of view.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Yeah. Sure. Absolutely. I get it.
X64
Now,
adding some
there is
commentary.
another group of guys that suggest that gravity is not the main force that most scientists say control how the universe works.
No, the greatest
Okay.
force.
You know, you look at
is in my pants.
the motion of tectonic plates and earthquakes, and we say, well, that's all related to gravity. This alternate view is you have all these electromagnetic forces that are causing this, and they can show various geologic formations that were not formed by gravity, but were formed by electromagnetic vortexes. Cool idea. Is it totally nuts? Depends on what you consider nuts.
Well, I would have to look that up a little more to really understand it, because just coming
About this
at it,
electromagnetic stuff?
yeah, because just coming off of it at the top of my head, I'm kind of brain dead.
So look up this site. It's Suspicious Observer, where the O in observer is a 0. And I think it's a .org or a .net. I'm not sure. It's been a long time since it's been in there. And there's one guy that does essentially daily broadcasts because he's watching sunspots and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking for that big coronal mass ejection that's going to wipe out the planet.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
That could happen.
Ben Davidson, I think. Something.
Yeah, it's when that solar flare just completely
just has to be facing the right way.
Yeah.
Because we have seen some wicked ones.
Oh
that
yeah.
are pointed the wrong way. It's like, holy shit, that would have, if we were there, we would have been wiped out.
It would have fucked us up.
Yeah,
I saw that on the Soho site. I look at that every once in a while.
You know, there's no prepper on the planet that can prepare for that.
No.
Nope.
Because if it's going to happen, it happens. I mean, an asteroid that comes after us, if we know about it way soon enough, we might be able to do something about it. But chances are, if it's a really big one.
If it's as big as the one that hit in the Yucatan, it's not.
Yeah, we're
or
gone.
I mean the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The solar flares destroyed all life on Earth.
Ah, solar flares, I see.
Our scientists calculated it would be 5,000 years before the biosphere became viable again.
There you go.
No. You have to get the spice. You gotta get the spice.
The spice.
Yes, the spice.
The spice. Oh, I see. Spice.
The solar flares destroyed all life on Earth.
Ah, solar flares, I see.
Our scientists calculated it would be 5,000 years before the biosphere became viable again.
And spice.
Oh, that's from Doctor Who.
That is, yes.
Which episode is that?
One of the Tom Baker ones. I went through and clipped
yeah.
every instance of him asking about a jelly baby, so I could go through and go like,
Would you like a jelly baby? Would you like a jelly baby?
Yeah.
Would you like a jelly baby? Would you like a jelly baby?
You know who brought back the Jelly Baby just for an instance?
who did that?
I believe it
Ronald
was
Reagan.
Matt. No, I believe
Matt
it was
Smith?
Matt Smith. Yes.
on Doctor Who.
Yeah, on Doctor Who. He brought back the Jelly Baby thing, or maybe it was David Tennant. It was either Matt Smith or David Tennant.
Well, the
Yeah.
best.
And then,
I kind of like Matt Smith too, but it takes a little getting used to. And then the guy that came after Matt, what was his name? The older guy with the gray hair.
Yeah. He
Peter
was cool.
Something.
Yeah.
The first season I kind of didn't get into, but then I got into the second season. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, he became better when he started doing like that guitar bit and started actually playing the Doctor instead of like just randomly acting bitchy with Claire.
Now drop your weapons, or I'll kill him with this deadly jelly baby.
That's a good one.
Yes. There you go.
I think the best moment that David Tennant had was when he was doing a bit with his father-in-law, who is the doctor. Let's see, doctor number 6. No, doctor number 5. The one with the vegetable, the carrot, or the celery in his jacket pocket. I think that's him.
Yeah.
Was that the sort of goofy guy? I can't remember that one.
Bruce something. Anyways, he no, Peter. It's Peter. No, Tom. No, not Tom. Is it Tom? No, not Tom Baker.
Jason.
Yeah, he was 3.
Jason.
I thought we were just shouting out random male names.
I'm just doing that. Anyways,
And I really liked David Tennant in the Potter role. Artie Krause Jr.
He was good in that one. He also had another role in.
Of course, we're gonna have to look things up now.
I lost the topic about 3 topics ago, so I'm not looking at anything.
He was in Whitechapel. He was in Whitechapel.
Okay, I never watched that.
That one was okay.
Meanwhile, you know what? Someone raised a very good point earlier. OX64 raised a point that I never thought of or never realized. Now, while playing Leisure Suit Larry, if you have sex with the hooker without a condom, you get VD. So you have to buy a condom to have sex with the hooker to get the points for it without dying. But Larry beats the game by having sex with a random woman he meets in the penthouse suite in a hot tub that he knows nothing about, never met before, and he goes to bed with her without a condom. So...
Oh, no.
So, yes, OX64 goes, yes, it is fascinating. I thought he would have learned the first time, but apparently, no. No, he did not. So I think, well, we all know what happens. Larry Part 2 begins with him thinking that he's going to move in and live with Eve, and Eve going, dude, you were a one-night stand. Get the fuck out of my house. So.
Yeah, Gators, one thing about the game.
Yeah.
That lady that went flying to through that apartment or whatever.
The lady?
Flying.
Well, that was the inflatable love doll he found in the closet.
Oh.
He used it, and then it popped, and then he went chasing after it.
Oh, I see.
You all missed the real show while you're talking about the aliens.
Dang.
I caught most of it.
Mookie writing in, that was no lady. No, it was, you know how sometimes you're watching one thing, listening to another thing? I figured our show could be like that. So I brought up the end of Leisure Suit Larry and played through the last few scenes of it while you were having your alien talk. Really, I just wanted to play out. I really just want to play out the scene where the
Island too.
I really just want to play out the scene where he pops a blow up doll from using it and it goes flying across the apartment.
Yeah, that was a little confusing, but okay.
A little warped.
It's a fun game.
Oh.
What?
David Tennant was in the, I always said the remake, The Thunderbirds Are Go.
What?
The Thunderbirds.
Huh.
2017, there was a reboot of it.
Oh, yeah. But, who would you say was it?
David Tennant.
Okay. Didn't know.
Peter Davison.
That's the guy.
That's the guy that has the god damn
That's the thing.
The vegetable.
The vegetable. Anyways,
Yeah.
Vegetable.
David Tennant marries Peter Davison's daughter, and he plays. They play like a March of Dimes thing over there, and those two end up in a paradox, and David Tennant's doctor makes fun of the vegetable in his bucket. It's so cute. It is adorable. It is absolutely adorable.
Vegetable.
But yeah.
Oh God! You just reminded me of that Lost in Space episode. Vegetable.
Mookie writes in, what's worse than getting sucked up in a YouTube or wiki black hole? Watching others do so. All right, let's talk about real life, the thing we came here to escape. So you all have plans in place if they'd close the grocery stores and turn to a pickup or delivery only model? Because I read something that's being talked about as a possibility now.
Yeah, I have one store that does pickup.
Yeah,
Better not.
I'd rather not, but then again, I also don't want to get sick and want this to,
Well, has
die
anybody
down.
used a delivery service like Instacart?
Well, I don't know what's available. No, basically they're suggesting that at some point it's not going to be safe to keep grocery stores open. That grocery store employees have been getting sick and some have been dying. And so if you can't guarantee the safety of your workers at your grocery stores, then at some point they may have to close the grocery stores and go to, and basically shift them over to a pickup or delivery model. Now the problem is that today's grocery stores are not properly equipped to turn into pickup or delivery operations overnight, which means that they're going to get flooded with, more need than they're able to maintain, and then it's going to be difficult for us to get groceries, is my concern. So
yeah, but I suspect that'll be number one regional, because I was watching this guy's video from, I think he's either South Carolina or Kentucky, and they're starting to do that.
Okay.
He'll go to the Walmart to pick stuff up, and he gets a lot of stuff shipped from Walmart.
Yeah. Well,
like in my area, I go through the Walmart site and says, okay, so send me all this stuff. Is oh no, that's for pickup only.
Huh.
So you go to the Livermore Walmart, and the pickup desk is way in the frickin' back.
Yay!
Back of the store. Like, no, you got to move that up front.
No, I mean, they're talking about literally closing stores so that the only thing you could do is pick up stuff, which I'm thinking would be outside the building or front
curb,
or whatever,
yes,
or at the
right,
curb,
right.
or delivery, which none of the grocery stores that don't provide that service or don't primarily provide that service are not prepared to overnight turn into a delivery or pickup only operation.
You know, it's not that hard. All you have to do is set up a canopy and put up a desk in front of the door. So inside the store, people are putting together orders.
But if 20
and take
orders
them out to that desk.
But then everyone's got to pull the orders from the shelves and have them
Not
ready.
everyone.
Have them organized.
The people that are in the stores.
Right.
Wearing masks and gloves and whatever.
There's a reason why
it's not that hard.
There's a reason why grocery stores don't work with that model anymore. They basically got us to do their job for them, so they didn't have to pay employees as much. Because remember, that used to be the way grocery stores worked. Was you went to the grocery store, placed your order, and they went and they got it off the shelves for you.
I had a friend that worked in Houston, and he's a Chinese guy, and his family had a grocery store in Mississippi. It's all very interesting. And he said, I asked him, oh, did you have self-serve or did you guys get the stuff for the people? You know, it's a small family place. And he says, oh, no, we view self-service as shoplifting.
Ah.
You know, which, of course, they don't do that anymore. Of course, then again, the guy that ran the cash register used to get commission, right? So I was talking to this one guy. He says, yeah, I would keep a broom next to the cash register, and every customer that came through bought it, right?
Huh.
And if someone says, wait a second, I didn't buy this broom, he says, oh, well, I'll just take that off, right?
I see.
Yes, so he was basically stealing from everybody to get that commission.
Oh, I see. Because some people wouldn't have him take the broom off, and then
most people wouldn't. They wouldn't notice that he added it on there.
Oh, he wasn't actually selling him a broom. He was just writing a broom on their order,
adding it to the ticket, and that broom never moved.
And he'd be like, "Innocent mistake. I thought you bought the broom."
You have 50 guys coming into the store and says, "Look, I want that broom."
Basically, he had a broom that happened to be stored close to the groceries that he was mistaking as a grocery.
Next to the register.
Next to the register. That he would mistake for an item and then not hand it to them.
Yeah, mistake, quote unquote.
Right. No, I'm putting the quotes in there. He would that was his deniable story if he ever got called on this shit. It was like, it was with their stuff. I thought it was part of the order. Innocent mistake. Let's go
Absolutely.
ahead. Go ahead, take that off, refund it, you know?
No, the hell with that. You know, I'd rather go in the store and get it myself because you know what you're getting. Now, these guys will sit there and pack the bags with, I won't say ruined food, but close to it. Vegetable with spots on them, stuff like that. Cracked eggs.
Yeah.
And all the other good shit. No.
That's
why that would reflect on the tip that you give the guy.
When I was growing up in San Jose, there was a drive-through grocery store where they would have a drive-through window or a door, but they would have a list of items, and you pointed at them. They would pick, they would get your milk, they would get your eggs, your bread and whatever, your meats, and you pay them, and you take your groceries. You didn't have to get out of your car.
I think my grandmother used to drive to something like that when I was a kid, and I thought that was the coolest thing. You know, she'd be like, "I'm just gonna swing by the grocery store, pick up a few things." She drives up to a window, and I hand her something. I'm like, "What this ain't McDonald's. This is what." It was
I thought it was the neatest thing ever. And then they closed. They closed when I was about like 6 or 7.
Yeah. Mookie writes in, I agree with venison. I like to plunk my own melons.
So if you're at the drive-up situation and they bring your order, there's that melon, bunk, 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 hand it back to the guy if you don't like it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there used to be one of my favorite grocery store innovations was Key Doozle. You ever heard of Key Doozle?
No.
Well, it was I one of the guys that was behind grocery store innovations at the time. At some point, he came up with a grocery store called Key Doozle. That it worked where all the groceries were in display cases, and I think he had some type of a device that you would stick it in the slot for the thing you wanted, and it would punch a paper tape or something like that. So it was like a computer tape that the computer would read. So once you were done going through, sticking in the slot of all the items you want, you had a tape that basically had a computer program of all the items you wanted, and they'd feed it through, and people in the stock room in the back would grab the orders, and they'd come out, and there's your grocery order.
So I went in Connecticut. So I went to the store with my brother in Connecticut. So you would go in and you'd grab your cart, and you'd have this device. As you go through and put stuff in the basket, you would scan the device. The item with the device, and then at the end, you go to the register, and you just pay whatever it is.
I think our grocery store has that, but I've never used that. I don't feel like standing around the middle of produce trying to figure out which tomato I have. I've just not bothered.
That's because you're lazy.
Yeah.
You hate technology.
I actually
wagon.
wish one of the stores I have here in town had that, because that would make my life so much more simpler instead of trying to keep track in my head, because I have a very hard time with that.
Right. Yeah, I haven't seen it anywhere in California.
I remember growing up, our ShopRite used to have little solar-powered calculators on the handle of the shopping cart. So in theory, you could do some calculating math while you were shopping if you wanted to keep track of how much money you were spending.
Because you couldn't afford your own calculator.
I never saw anyone ever use one of those calculators.
Sure.
So.
I had the calculator watch.
Hey, there you go.
Cool.
I just use that, pick up something, mark it down, and continue on until they ran out of money.
Anyways,
now, Venison, do you like to buy whole chicken or do you like the pieces parts?
Me, I like chicken legs. Occasionally.
So you buy just the legs, okay.
You got the turkey?
Yes, occasionally, I'll sit there and buy, some Cornish game hens, maybe a turkey.
Oh yeah. But those are whole.
I'm more breast
Or half.
man myself. I got the chicken breasts.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Boneless chicken, boneless, skinless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes
And we prefer the thin because you can cook them easier.
And sometimes
once in a while you get the big thick ones, and they can be tough if you don't cook them right.
And sometimes we get wings for Saturday dinner.
Oh yeah, I get them too.
Hot
But you want the
wings
skin.
and hot wings and beer and Star Trek. Nothing says Sunday like that.
Which Star Trek
you want
like?
the skin anyway.
Well, we're
keep the skin on.
We went through the whole original series, and we're watching Next Generation now.
Okay.
Like I said, keep the skin, because if you cook it right, the skin will come out
oh.
nice and crispy.
Oh yeah, Kristen's got the timing down perfectly to get the nice crisp skin, and then sauces it. What we do is we buy the medium and the hot Frank's buffalo sauce, and then that way we could set the ratio to just the right spiciness that we like. And because the hot by itself is fine for the first few wings, but it really builds up a heat. So we get the medium, but the medium's not hot enough. So we mix it to our liking. Is my
so you make your own formula.
Right. We get.
There's a hamburger joint in Danville called Pete's Brass Rail, which is a hamburger joint.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of high end. And they don't really care for the Heinz ketchup, and they don't like the Hunt's, so they have their own mixture of the two.
Oh, there you go. The mixture of Heinz and Hunt's.
Yep.
To make their own ketchup. It's their secret recipe.
Secret recipe that they tell everybody.
It's kind of like our secret recipe for the show. It's part science, part bullshit, and we just mix it to we find the right ratio, and also I noticed that I just Ted was typing on the YouTube stream at first, and wanted to know where I found this doorstop. Well, I actually bought two of these. I found one at an antique radio swap meet, and the other one I went on eBay to buy. And between those two, I had enough parts to build a working one.
And then you could take the parts thing and sell it as parts on eBay.
Why would I sell my spare parts to keep this thing going? Something's going to break down on this eventually.
Oh, I see. Well, the hard drive works, and it works perfectly fine, right?
For how long, I don't know, and I don't have another hard drive, but I have two other floppy drives, one confirmed not working.
Let me see. That hard drive is probably 30 years old?
Between 30 and 40 years. Yeah, probably 35, we'll say.
So why wouldn't it not last, say, 60 years?
Because it makes funny sounds sometimes. I'm amazed at
don't bang the computer around.
I'm amazed it spun up, to be honest. After and who knows how many years it sat stationary. A lot of times, just storing a hard drive for a few years will result in it seizing up and not spinning up. So it really is a miracle that this drive works at all. I'm not expecting it to work much longer. I don't know. Could be wrong. Maybe it will go another 30 years.
Now, you, when you fool around with it and you're done with it, you turn it off?
Yeah.
Well, in fact, you had the plug pulled on it earlier. So.
Yeah, I do. I don't have a Park executable with the compact DOSes that I have, so I don't know if this predates the hard drive parking, and maybe that came in with the second model. I don't. I'll have to look. But it's not. I should be able to get a Park executable somewhere to park the hard drive.
Yeah.
I need to find that, because generally that was more important on luggables, because that was to get the heads parked so that when you're moving the drive around, it doesn't start scraping the platter. This is what the people tune in for every week right here. But what the people really tune in for is the next segment here, because we try to be educational here. So what have we really learned here this week?
Oh, wait. Before you do that, I just want to say something to Mookie there. Mookie, one of my favorites was this one line that Riker, when they're pulled, when Diane Choi was talking about her mother and how horny she was. Just getting annoying. And she went in and said something like, "Oh yes, the Betazoid sex drive can be 6 times normal." And Riker goes, "Why didn't you tell me this before?" And she goes, I didn't want to frighten you." Now the smile that came across as she continued talking, but the smile that came across Riker's face was precious.
Nice.
just the way he smiled, just made me laugh my ass off for like 10 minutes. That look was so funny.
Yeah. OX64 Redigan, Larry had both a floppy and a hard drive. Just consult with him if you need one later.
All right.
Yes. And also, what else have we learned this week? I liked Worf sometimes says some nice things on Star Trek. You know, like
good tea. Nice house.
You know, he was polite, but he's
More
not.
sizzle.
He's not a merry man though.
I am not a merry man.
I am not a merry man.
I am not a merry man.
Anyways, Lulu, what have you learned this week?
What did I learn? I learned a lot.
Oak Island?
I learned a lot
Ancient
about Oak
aliens?
Island. No, I already knew all ancient aliens.
She taught us about the ancient aliens.
Yeah, I taught
do
you guys
think-
about
do you
ancient
think
aliens.
the Project Blue book will come back for another season?
Oh God, yes. They gotta find the captain, or the private, or buccaneer.
But
They gotta find that guy.
so that's what you learned.
Yeah.
And Brian,
The
what have you?
professor?
Brian, what have you learned this
No,
week?
not the professor. The other guy.
Oh, the captain.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I forgot that he was missing.
And Venison, what have you learned
did
this
I ruin
week?
it for you?
I've learned Oak Island is still bullshit, and you people aren't ready for Asian aliens and what they found.
This is
Well,
bullshit.
Oak Island is almost, like I said, Oak Island is almost over, and they're not trying to say it, but when you look at other shows that are coming up, yeah, you know that it's over.
Oh, this is bullshit.
They're going to hit the bottom and either going to find something or find nothing. Now, so one of the things in Oak Island is that, you know, they have the plaque where these are the people of the searchers that have died. And there's this one unknown character whose body is still down there. Are they going to retrieve that body? Don't know.
And Mookie has learned that Brian has sliding closet doors.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and by the way, Brian is also a Klingon.
and you're not a merry man.
And right, not a merry man.
Not
He's a
the-
Klingon.
I am not a merry man.
And
He's a Klingon because he ran out of toilet paper.
and I learned that Lulu found a way to evolve our topic from titty fucking to titties fucking too big.
Good segue.
And I also learned,
The best segue this show has ever had.
and I've also learned that when watching Lulu on Twitch, she is monitoring who is entering and leaving that channel very closely.
Oh yes.
What was our peak? What was our peak number?
9.
9. Wow.
All at
Wow.
once?
Yes.
Does that include me? Because I'm actually.
Well, of course that counts. You were viewing it, weren't you?
No,
that
I
counts.
was watching
That
it.
counts.
I was watching us live on the Team Talk. Once in a while,
No,
I
that
flip
doesn't
over
count.
because the
We almost
the
hit
channel
double
actually
digits.
Has that other.
Almost. OX ready to get. Oh crap! I had 9
That brings
duplicate
in
tabs
good
open.
money, right? That brings in good money, right?
There you go.
And I got news for you.
Yeah.
Oh. He left.
Oh, that's the news.
What?
Oh.
Oh, it picks now the crap out.
Oh, you got bumped.
Yeah.
Damn
And
it.
Mookie, how the universe was created is not a sci-fi show. It's real.
Anyways, Also,
It's on now.
Mookie also learned that Johnny may have a problem with collecting old technology. You say problem.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what's kept me sane in these times, because it's like,
PC order.
boy, I get to stay home with old computers every weekend. Otherwise, what else am I gonna do?
So have you abandoned your repair a radio project?
The TV, basically,
Or the TV project?
I found a guy in New Jersey that has TVs that are just as old, that are not Zenith, that he's restored, that he is willing to trade for my Zenith so he can restore it for himself. Which seems to be a more appealing option than destroying a irreplaceable Zenith TV. Because I am going...
Can we end this so I can take my bra off?
No one stopped you from taking the bra off right now. Camera's up here. We won't know.
I'm not lifting my tits out of this sports bra just for your entertainment.
Just gotta duck down, come back up, breathe a sigh of relief, and sing "Born Free." And
it's not working.
Yeah,
that
we only see the cleavage.
Okay, let's have mercy on Lulu here and say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Boobage cream. Ask for it by name.
Bye, guys.
It's aliens.
It's not alien.
Beautiful.